right, that should be it. I think my brain's not working today.
It's been a while since we've had a go twice.
Yeah, it's been a while since I watched. Welcome to Books We Never Read.
Except for those we have.
I'm Jason.
I'm Nicole.
And today, I'm telling you, it doesn't work. Today is our last reading for Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin.
And in case this is your first time joining us, it's really a discussion. We're not reading the book to you.
What'd I say?
The last reading. We're discussing the last reading.
Yeah. You can read it your own self. I don't have to.
So if you haven't read up to the end, then you should leave. But come back later after you've read. Because we're going to get to spoiling and whatnot. And there's a big thing that happens in this part of the book that we just read. And so you need to go. You need to go. And then come back when you've read. So we're on YouTube Music as a podcast. Mm-hmm. We're on Instagram and we're on Fable. So check us out in all our locations. Pretty quiet on the Instagrams lately.
Loud on the Fable. We've talked to each other on Fable. I don't know if anybody else
yeah,
has.
just me and him. Yeah. But
I've been talking to other people on Fable, like people
nice.
we don't know.
Yeah, we've been plugging the book club and whatnot, like in our reviews and stuff. Just like by the way, because if we can build the community and there's people there,
yeah,
that'd be fun.
Yeah. I feel like this is a book that needs to be talked about. Not all books need to be talked about, but I feel like this is one that has to be talked about. So.
Yeah.
The chat's already talking.
Dude. So, the beginning of this third reading, I was still just angrily frustrated with, gosh, it's been so long since I've read now. I forgot everyone's name. Samson and, what is her name? Sable? No.
Sadie.
Just frustrated with them. They're just such brats and they're just so bad to each other. And it's just frustrating.
Yeah.
But, I loved, all the other things going on. Like, learning about how their business was going. And just how difficult it is to work with artistic people. Like, they are artistic people. Sure, and, their brain is just wired differently. But then, Gabrielle Zevin, you really had to do it to us. You really had to bring the real world into our book. And I had to pause and just stare blankly at Jason.
Was the shooting this reading? That wasn't last reading? Oh,
no.
We haven't talked about it yet? Okay.
No.
I have talked about that chapter so much.
How could you?
To anyone who would listen.
Gabrielle Zevin.
Yeah. Savage.
How could you? I mean, that was just so, abruptly real life.
Yeah.
It was so uncomfortable. And it was just devastating.
Well, to switch from... I said this on Fable, I think, maybe just to you, but... for him to send that for Marks to send that text and then write TOH and for them to realize it means tamer of horses and now something bad is happening before you even get the story of what's actually happening. Mm-hmm. That was just devastating. Just oh my god, it's them, it's him, this is bad, because I think we all agree Marks is our favorite character, right? Everybody else is
only
yeah
wonderful person in this world.
Yeah. But then to have it sort of his fever dream dying thoughts as he goes through all of this. I mean, it was just... I told everybody, this book is wrecking me. I'm not saying that this is the best book we've ever read, because it's not. And I'm not even saying that I would put it in the top 50%.
But it just had some good things to read.
That is probably the most emotional I've been about. Yeah. About any book we've read, at least this year. Maybe longer than that. So, I mean, rough.
Yeah.
I also happen to be watching the movie Troy right now, just for, no good reason, before I even, knew this was a thing. And so I was, I've kind of, developed this interesting respect for Hector, because I like Achilles a lot, as my Iliad hero.
I like Achilles, too, but he's a baby.
Yeah. I name all of my gaming characters Achilles. I always do that, and
I name mine Athena or some variant thereof.
Yeah, but so now I'm kind of developing this respect for Hector. The whole concept of oh well, he was just a tamer of horses and it's okay for you to be known as no god slayer or something like that. That's a bit on the nose, and they kind of made that up as kids who don't know anything about like the Iliad, right? That's like he was still like a demigod basically, right? Like he was still this great warrior. He was not necessarily known for like being good at horses, you know, like he was, but like so were other people, and they didn't get to be famous. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So like it's a bit, but like the concept is what's important, not like they're not correct about like how Hector is known in the Iliad, but that's not the point, right? Yeah.
So yeah, his process of dying, seeing Samson come in and talk to his mom and realize that his mom had the same name as his mom.
Yeah.
But why didn't we ever talk about that? And why didn't I know this? And this commentary on like how much these two left unsaid. They were basically brothers.
Yeah.
And Marx, in his dying fever dream, said as much.
Yeah.
You know, but why couldn't y'all ever make this very clear in life?
Yeah.
Why wait until it's too late to say the things that really matter to people? And that was, you know, very sad and very frustrating and
Well, I think
emotional.
ultimately that's what I'm taking from the book, right? And like there's so much talk about like these game worlds and like very little respect for, like especially early on, for like the real world and their real relationships. But the game world is also their jobs and their obsession with like being famous, or you know, the game world is Sadie's relationship with Dove. The game world is, you know, all these different things, and they're not like focusing on the things that like really matter, because they're and like those things matter. I'm not saying they don't, and they get to choose that, but in the end, they kind of like regret that, and to the point where like I would even say that Sadie's relationship with the Doctor, who is Sam, in Maple West or whatever the MMO is, right, where they get married and have this kid and play Go all the time.
That was a totally different game.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
but it's not Mapletown. It's
Right.
like Maple other thing, right? Like yeah, Old West whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like whatever thing he made.
Oregon Trail, not Oregon Trail
2.0, yeah. But the point being is that like that was a relationship. And it was in a game. And it was important, I think. And so that's my point isn't that like, oh, video games are bad and the real world is good. It's the relationships are what is important, no matter where
Right.
they are. And people keep getting caught up in games and not like focusing on the thing that really matters, right?
Yeah.
It'd be like, I mean, like when they were kids and they were playing Mario, it's like this obsession with hitting the top of the flagpole instead of just like, I just want to play games with my friends, right? So, yeah. Let's catch up on the chat. This is getting wild.
Well, so Peggy says that it's typical that Sadie was mad at Sam for doing like marriage and stuff in that other game, the Oregon Trail game, when she's the one who came up with the idea of marriage in Mapletown.
Yeah.
When Aunt's marriage was voided. So again, her just being mad for her own choices.
Yeah.
Do you think Sam's impersonations in Mapletown was him getting even?
They're talking about like whenever he was the Doctor. No, I don't think he was getting even. Like, do I think it was manipulative? Yes, I think Sadie is
Yeah.
correct about that. But he was. I also believe that he was trying to help. That doesn't make it not weird, but like he was.
Well, Marx taught him that you keep showing up. You keep showing up until she lets you in.
Right.
And so that's what he did at her apartment
Yeah.
after she had had her procedure and was really depressed. And he couldn't do that in real life because she explicitly told him, do not come back here,
Yeah.
give me space. And so he had to find a way to keep showing up for her.
Yeah.
And keep popping into her life. And that's the way he did it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's weird, but it doesn't make the relationship like any less real, I guess. I don't know. And like it's a game relationship, so it's not like a real relationship. But it was an important relationship to Sadie.
Yes.
And I want to draw this point, so at the end she hands him the game, and it's Ludo whatever, right? I can't remember his
Oh
middle name.
yeah, the little
Ludo Xerxes, or whatever his name is, and it's named after their child in Maple West,
Oregon
right?
World. Yeah.
Oregon World, yeah. And but so what's interesting is that Sadie has two children, right? Sadie has a child with Marks, and she does have a child with Sam, ultimately here at the end, and we kind of have this thing, and it comes up again. First off, I'm glad that they don't end up together, and like the book just kind of like ends, because I just don't care.
They would be horrible together.
Yeah, but Sam kind of asks like, why didn't we get together? And she just kind of like laughs and says like, we never would. And somebody makes this comment that like, what you really need to be looking for is somebody that you can play with, right? And I would change it even to say that like somebody that you can create with, because Sadie created with both Marks and Sam created with both Sadie and Marks, and like they are this thing together, and it doesn't matter who was sleeping with who. Like they all brought this value to each other's lives, but they all kind of wanted something else, like, and they didn't like respect what they had, I guess.
Yeah. Friendship was the name of the little town
Yeah.
the Oregon Trail West town.
Yeah. I kind of enjoyed like the way it was told from like the character's perspective and not from Sadie's perspective. Like you could tell that the character was Sadie
Immediately.
obviously, but then like the character would be like, oh, I don't know what that is, right? Because like the character doesn't know necessarily or whatever. I liked her little neighbor, which we should assume is like a real person. Actually, we know now that it was Sam. Her neighbor was Sam. He was several people in the game.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
He was really up in there.
Yeah.
Really up in there. Everywhere. So back to them really or Gabrielle Zevin really using the ending of the Iliad and the speech there, and the ending of Macbeth, and the tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow speech.
Yes.
That's always, I don't know. I mean, just as like a former English teacher and whatever, I like that.
Yeah.
I like it when an author can tap into an already emotionally loaded phrasing or, very famous speech that already has all these feelings in it. And then use that momentum in their own book. Like I think that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's like sampling in a song. Like
Yeah.
you have a great song, but you're going to take some momentum from this other song that has this great beat that everyone recognizes and loves. And
Right.
I love that. I think that's great.
One of the authors I've been thinking about choosing for us to read is Khalil Gibran. He's this like Lebanese guy from like World War I time. And he wrote like several books that have to do with like all kinds of like interesting issues from that time. And off the top of my head, I can't remember the name of his most famous book. I'm not sure it would be fun. Like it'd be kind of like reading like Wuthering Heights or something, right? You know what I mean? Like it would just be like a thing.
Yeah.
But he's the one who has that quote who says like, God told me to love my enemy, and so I loved myself, right? And so the reason that quote is on my radar is because it showed up in a show that I really enjoyed, and they do this, right? The sampling kind of idea, where they use that as a theme to do something else, and yeah, I agree. I really enjoy that.
And with the Macbeth quote coming in, that was our hint. I think that Marx was always going to die. He was Banquo. And Samson, the first time he saw Marx die,
Yes.
it was Banquo dying 1,000 times in practice. And
well, and even then, like after he died, they didn't let him even come back as a ghost, right? Like he was gone.
But he said he wanted to make his role so powerful.
Yeah.
That the audience would look at that chair and know he was there anyway.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of how he like lived his life too.
How authors can even like conceive of like this level of interconnectedness kind of blows my mind.
Yeah.
Because like I'd just be like, and then he died, and I would have like
The
no
end.
beautiful sort of tie-ins at all. So, but yeah, it was I'm glad with like I'm happy about like where they've kind of ended up. An important part of each other's lives, but like separate enough. And Sadie's off having her little career and with her daughter and everything. And
I have something to say about that.
Go for
Remind me when you're done.
no, I mean like that's it. Like I don't know. I really hate. I've been comparing this to When Harry Met Sally, probably because I read that somewhere on the internet, and like it's like a coming back together throughout time, right? Because this really happens like 3 or 4 times for them where they come back together. And I really hate the whole trope of like you can just be like a sad dude, and if you wait long enough, you'll get the girl. Like God, I hate that, and it's gross and it's weird and it's
Yeah, don't be Ross Geller.
well, and like it's very similar to like what's going on in the Oregon Trail video game thing that he makes, right? Where like if you just like sit around long enough and like weasel your way in, like you'll make it or whatever. And like that's not healthy. We don't need to be having movies like that, and we don't need to be telling people that message.
Yeah.
Get your act together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, but I agree with what you're saying. But I feel like what he did with the Friendship Town game was just more building a world so he could check in on his friend.
I agree, but it's very close.
It is very close. And it also is it can be kind of oogie.
Yeah.
Like, yay, this is what she needed. Mm-hmm. Yay. But also, you need to hear what people are saying and respect what they're saying. But this has been their problem the whole time, is that neither of them communicate effectively with each other. Mm-hmm. And so they're both scrambling in all the wrong directions.
Right.
And being very reactive in their friendship rather than proactive.
Right.
And so it's a yucky friendship anyway. Mm-hmm. And they're just doing it the way they do it. Yeah. And we're just observing that.
But, if they weren't this dysfunctional, would they be as creative as they are? Right?
And so, and that's the difficulty
right.
here.
You can't ask for them to be different. Like it doesn't even make sense.
That's just how they're wired. Yeah. They could do better. Like we can always try to better our communication and how we can, like I am who I am.
Yeah.
But I know with certain people, I need to tame some of that down or approach things in a slightly different way to accommodate the other person. Mm-hmm. Like I can't just be irresponsibly me to everybody. Like at work, I have to, I can't be as goofy at work. I've got to meet my coworkers in a way that works with them and meet the clients in a way that works with them. And so like they also need to learn how to do that. Yeah. Like that's just part of growing up, sure. Okay, so Sadie, I mentioned a thing. I was like, I have a thing I need to say.
Yes.
Sadie is a temp teacher. She's teaching for a year while Dodo heads in Israel. Mm-hmm. She had that whole Donkey Kong machine delivered to her office. Girl, you don't live there. You're going to have to move that again in 8 months.
It was only like $400, which I thought was kind of a steal, honestly. But yeah.
That's wild. What a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Put that somewhere permanent.
Well, and like by the time it got there, like the battery didn't even work anymore, so it didn't have their high score. And so like then at that point you can have any machine.
But it was burnt
into
the screen. I loved that. So folks today, the youths, won't know much about this because I don't think screens do this anymore. Yeah. But
my watch does. My watch is burnt. I'll show you.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, okay, never mind. But it was like it happened much quicker back in the day. Yeah. But like if your grandma watched, QVC for several hours a day, that QVC like logo and the scroll bar area would be burnt into the screen. And so even if you're watching a different show, you would still faintly see a little bit of QVC action, like just burnt into the screen. So funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's funny.
I was very sad when Sam's grandpa died.
Yeah, that was like one of the first things the chat mentioned was his grandfather dying.
He just had a good family.
Yeah, he did.
Like they were
Yeah.
great, and Sadie did too.
Yeah.
She had a great like grandmother, who's very supportive and very
Yeah.
present. We don't really know much about her sister and her parents.
Sam had trauma, but he had a great family, and like I get how he ended up the way he is.
Mm-hmm.
And like I guess you could say Sadie had trauma because she was like second fiddle to her sick
Mm-hmm.
sister, but like in the grand scheme of things, that's not like the worst thing that could happen.
She didn't have the trauma, but she didn't have a family.
Yeah, but she had a great grandmother and other stuff. I don't know. Yeah. All things considered,
Our Aunt and Simon were normal. I'm sorry.
No. They were normal. They were probably my like second. I'm gonna call them one character, and they were my second favorite.
They were
character.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, they were good. All things considered, I think I really enjoyed this book. Like I don't know who this is. I don't know who it's for. Like I think it's for people like me, people who grew up with this sort of gaming technology, people our age, who have like a nostalgia for it. And who are like interested in the idea of games and growing up and things like that, so like our parents didn't like game when they were kids, not like video games, right? And so now we have this generation of people who are like 40s 50s who were gaming as kids, and the people before them think of games as like a kids thing, the people after them think of games as a kids thing, but here they are, they're adults, and they're like, and so what is it, right? And so like how do you fit in or whatever. And it's a story about growing up, I think. But
got a little Bildungsroman action for those of you that wanted another German word.
Oh, nice. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know who it's for. If somebody was like, "Could you recommend me a book?" I'm not sure like what I would need for me to pick this one for them.
Who's it for? People who just like to read.
Sure.
And I feel like there's like you take a lot from it. It's a weird book.
Yeah.
But you learn a lot. There's not a big barrier to entry. You don't need to already know about games, but you should be kind of interested in just art and culture, and like that should be something that's fun for you to read about or learn about. But it explains all the references. There's not a single reference that they threw in there that they didn't explain what it was.
Yeah.
In a quick way. Like it was well done.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. And I don't know. I think that like at this particular point in my life, I enjoyed sort of the like more than anything. What was important to me was like Marx's death and his dying, the NPC chapter, and just like the whole concept of like, I wish I had like not necessarily wish he'd worked less, but like I would do this again and again and again, and I've talked about that on the show before, but like I really like this like idea of like eternal return, and that was like a Nietzsche idea. If a demon shows up or a god and tells you have to live your life exactly over again, over and over and over, tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow, would you cry or would you be happy about it? And I really try to live my life in a way that like I would choose this over and over and over again. And sometimes you lose sight of that, and sometimes you get focused on like getting the high score, and sometimes you focus on like touching the top of the flagpole. But like the point was to play.
I wanted to swing back around to a point. There was something I wanted to say earlier, and it's not huge or profound by any means. But we were talking about like the experiences that they had in the game versus the experiences that they had in real life, and which ones were more important or more real or whatever. It reminds me a lot of like Descartes, and like, am I caught in a dream right now, or am I being tricked by a demon right now? Is this the reality that's real or whatever? And like his conclusion, or from a very like overly dumbed down way to look at it, either way, you're having the experiences you're having. You can learn from your dreams, you can learn from a movie, you can learn from a book, and you can learn from a video game, and you can learn from real life.
Yeah.
One of those is more impactful than the others, of course. But you still take very real lessons from all of those experiences because your brain is still processing those things as experiences.
Sure.
And so, I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah. When I was so something that especially the NPC chapter reminded me of is when I was in high school. I went to like a very religious school, And there was this man who was in charge of a club I was in who recommended to me this book called Jonathan Livingston Seagull. Have you ever heard of this book? It's called Jonathan Livingston Seagull, and it's about a seagull named Jonathan Livingston. I think was what it was, and I don't know why he recommended it, but like I think it's a book about reincarnation. Like that's what I took from it, but it's about this seagull who like learns to fly higher and higher and higher and become this other thing. But that's a lot of what the NPC chapter reminded me of. Right? Was like Mark's like going over his life and looking at it and like thinking about like I wish I could do this again and do maybe do it better or whatever and like I'm not saying he got reincarnated. I'm not saying reincarnation happens. I'm just saying like it's this concept of like becoming the best of what you are, right? Like Jonathan Livingston Seagull doesn't go off and like become a god or something. He just becomes a better seagull. Right, like I think is what the deal is. It's like 50 pages. I used to have it. It's probably at my mom's house, but like I don't know why, but it was just a bizarre little book. But like that's what that part reminded me of. The way the story is told, and sort of like you get this feeling that like Marx is like, I don't know if anybody else had this, but Marx is in the air, right, and he's like floating and flying and moving. So you know, it has sort of like similar concepts there, I guess. So.
Yeah. Oh shoot, there was something else that I thought of as well. Hold on. Ah, shoot. It keeps coming back to me like while you're talking and then I forget it again. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Shoot. I could see a literature class reading this.
Yeah.
Maybe like freshman college. Just because of the sex stuff.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like without the like weird dove stuff, if that weren't in there, totally high school summer reading.
Yeah. That kind of takes it to a different level, sure.
But that's just too unhealthy.
Yeah. So Peggy, you're saying like you say the book is kind of Inception-ish, where you don't know which you is the real you.
It's all just parts of you, though. Yeah. There doesn't have to be this like separation of people. They're just elements of you. One of the things that was brought up near the serious act of violence and before that was like, oh, video games shouldn't be political. Well, guess what? Video games is art. Mm-hmm. And we forget that, I think, because it hits a much different audience sometimes. You know, not necessarily the artsy audience is who's playing games, but the video games are art in the way that literature is art and that like paintings are art, you know? Sure. And so, yeah, there is room to be political and to have ideas and to want to represent these things that the developers believe inside of these games, or, you know, to kind of fight against some element of the government that they're disagreeing with. Of course there's room for that in there, and of course not everyone's going to like it, but that's art. Well,
like the idea that there is this category political, that is a category that we made up, right? And so like if you want to make a game about people, it's going to be political, and it's going to be like religious, and it's going to be economic, right?
Because
like,
that's what people are.
Yeah, like could you imagine if you're like, you shouldn't have economics in video games? Like, what does that even mean? How what? Why? How? Why is that any different, right?
Art imitates life.
Yeah.
Which is also very funny that I was so mad at Gabrielle Zevin for choosing this way to get Marx out of the story. Yeah. Like, I mean, I'm like, how dare you interrupt my escape from reality with this very abrupt dose of reality. Yeah. Well, yeah, because it's art. Mm-hmm. So there you go. Yeah. I really struggled with that part of the book.
It was hard. When Sadie didn't want like the blood cleaned up. Because she was like, that's Marx. Like,
I don't know, Sadie. And you're not even going in there anyway. So
like you literally never went back. Like we're gonna clean
just shut up. She's so unhinged. I don't know.
Yeah. You know, Peggy made a comment a second ago about are people responsible even if they've had trauma? And I don't know, you can have your own opinions about this, but I think everybody knows I have strong opinions about it. And
It's all about
yes,
choices.
you are responsible, and you are not responsible for your trauma, but you are responsible for what you do with it. And you may recognize that, like, I have used this trauma, like, to make bad choices, but the point is, like, you are a being that has trauma that is now capable of these choices. So, like, we gotta work with what we got. Right? You cannot be other than what you are.
Right.
So.
And, if nothing else, it's your responsibility to hear that someone else is telling you that, like, maybe you need to get some help. Maybe you're not thinking clearly.
Yeah.
Like, it can be very difficult. We have different barriers for making good choices, whatever that means,
Right.
But it's still your responsibility to, like, look out for others and look out for yourself and recognize when your decision making has been compromised.
Right.
And it doesn't mean that you're not going to make a mistake. That's just part of growing up and part of living is screwing some stuff up. But at some point, you've got to recognize, like, I'm not able to do this, and get some help.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't know why we're so hung up on marks, right? Because, like, so Shelby, no, sorry, Peggy points out, like, the book starts with cancer.
Yeah.
We also have other Anne jump off a building. We have
That really is, like, bright in my
like
mind.
we like years later discover, like, Sadie's operational situation.
I just hated
Right,
that
and, like,
for
why
her.
she was the way she was. We have this abuse by. I mean, like, honestly, the entire book is, like, abusive and sad.
Yeah.
I don't know why we're hung up on Marx. It's because we liked him and he was our, like, bright spot, and then she took it away from us.
Yeah.
But
That's a very good point, though. Like,
I mean,
we are
it's
just
trauma after
washing
trauma
it
after trauma,
over,
right?
you
I mean, like, we even talked about Ant and whatever his boyfriend's name is, but, like, come on, right? I mean, like, the whole thing. They lose their.
Oh, okay. You know what? I remember that day. I remember the day when everyone was racing to the courthouse to get their marriages in that day. I mean, it was so exciting.
Yep.
And I do like that about this book, that she tapped into some of these, like, historical moments that were really significant.
Yeah.
That day was so exciting, but there was also this feeling of nervousness of, like, what if someone shows up to mess this up for people, and and then what happens if they do take it away, and and they did. I also, like, before Marks got hurt, she had referenced 9/11, and I was just like, like,
Yeah.
I hate having to get these, like, harsh reminders of reality. And I do the same thing when someone has cancer. I'm just like I'm reading a book to escape the crapiness of life.
I feel like we don't read a lot of, like, realistic fiction, and this might be, with the exception of Hurricane Season, like, the most realistic fiction that we've done in a while. Because when we do read realistic fiction, and this is a thing I've been thinking about because of Fable, like, it gives you, like, your book, it gives you your book sort of, like, personality. Have you ever seen that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so I'm, like, a fiction speculative dark wanderer or something, right? Like, that's what it says. But it's, I like to read sci-fi, I like to read fantasy. When we do read realistic stuff, it's like murder mysteries and thrillers and stuff like that, right? But, like, this is the most real thing, most normal thing that we've read in a while. And so with the exception being, like, historical fictions, and that would be, like, Heaven and Earth,
Right.
Grocery Store, and things like that, right? Which are very much in the same line. When you get to real stuff, it tends to be sad.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I guess this is kind of historical fiction.
It is. It's just
It's just
were
a
there
very
for it.
recent.
Yeah.
I mean, we are historical at this
Yeah.
point. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marx was a glue and a crutch. He held them together, but he also really enabled their bad behaviors, because he would just go back and clean it all up and get it all sorted out.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're all very lucky to have had him. And he's very lucky to have had them. Like,
Yeah.
together, he had a purpose in life and a career that he loved.
Yeah.
So, Yeah. Yeah, I mean, overall, I really liked this book. As a matter of fact, I had rated it on Fable after I wrote my review. I let it sit for about 30 seconds and I went back and upped my rating. Because I was like, if I, like, I wouldn't read this book again. I would not. I'm good.
Yeah.
I've read it. But it really just made me think about so much stuff. And I was so engaged throughout the whole book. I just really hated the main characters. And it's been a long time since I have liked a book and hated the main characters. The last time that happened was The Magicians. Hated the main characters.
Yeah.
Loved the books.
Yeah. But yeah, Peggy, I think that's what people are picking up on. Is like this was the real world, and
I didn't want the real
yeah,
world.
so,
Right,
I don't think anybody wanted that.
Right.
But it is what it is.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I think about said it all. We talked for 40 minutes.
Inspiring explorer.
Yeah,
and it
fun.
changed after she added this book. Well, so yeah. So, if we did get any new members of the book club out of today, any real ones, I hope y'all join us for future books and join us on Fable.
This is our most viewed live episode we've ever done, probably at this point.
Trolls in the dungeon.
Trolls in the dungeon.
Thought you should know.
But still, whatever. My numbers are up. So
Thank you.
appreciate it, dog.
Thank you for your feedback.
You can come back for the next one because your ban will be up.
Peggy was doing a good job in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway.
Are y'all done? Do we have anything else we want to say? I liked it. I saw
I liked it too.
Peggy's rating was a 5 and Shelby's
7.2.
7.2.
Yeah. I give it like 4 out of 5 stars. Probably. Is that what we do? 5 stars?
We're just 2 thumbs up. What are we? I don't know.
No, what does Fable do?
Oh, 5, I guess. Yeah.
Like 4 stars.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I gave it 4. I think I had given it 3.5. And when I saw it, I was like, that is not right.
Gabrielle, you lose 1 star because you make me sad.
I think I might have given her a star because she made me sad. I don't want to feel things, but it's good for us.
Yeah.
Catharsis.
Sure.
Release of emotions.
All right, well, we'll go ahead and wrap this up.
All right.
And we are going to put out a syllabus for our next book, which is The Tenant by Frida McFadden. So if you don't have that book, go ahead and grab it. And then you can check out our syllabus in the next little bit. And begin your readings.
Shelby said she read Frida McFadden.
I saw that. She said it was really good. I've never read anything by her. I don't know anything about it.
I hope, it like the novelty hasn't worn. Like sometimes you really like a book by an author, you read the second one, you're like, you can't help but compare it to, the previous one or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I hope this one is good.
Yeah.
Anyway. I love that.
Yeah, very cool. Built-in reading time. That's nice.
But it's got to be a paperback. So good luck. Or just, always have the same paperback but have your Kindle like just slid in there.
Smart.
Just make sure the paperback's not upside down.
Somebody's done this before. All right. Got anything else?
Nope.
All right. We're going to wrap it up, folks. We will see y'all next week. Same time, same place.
Happy reading.
Different book. Bye.